Hi, David. Glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much, Eunice.
So, can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do?
Sure. So let's start. So just to make a long story short, I'm originally a web designer. I started my career as a web designer at the beginning, as everybody does, starting making websites for friends and friends of friends and family and so on and so forth. And then I had the opportunity to work for pretty important companies, just to mention some: Ferrari, Porsche, Campari, Southern Comfort, big restaurants all over the world and stuff like that. Then I moved to Sweden, and I'm originally from Italy, and I started working for advertising agencies here for a while, and then I had the brilliant, if you want, idea to start my own startup, which was a great experience for in different aspects. The human aspects to start with, but also business wise was very interesting. That's where you learn a lot on the field, as I like to say. In that company, it was really interesting to realize that we were actually three people, and three of us were working on the product. So after 2 years of work, we realized we had a brilliant product, a brilliant website in that case, but no one was taking care of bringing people to look at that website, right? So that was what people calls marketing, I suppose. And then I decided someone had to do it, and I decided to do it myself and to take care of that part, of that aspect. And I ended up spending around maybe over $10,000 in that case, in less than a year, trying to figure out a way to drive traffic to my website, and that's the hard way I learned, was for my own sake, in order to survive, to make that project survive. And then I also end up doing teaching what I learned, teaching all the things and advice and tips and tricks I learned in all this experience, and that's what I do. Right now I help companies and people and friends to get some more visibility and hopefully money out of it, using the online channel on one side. And on the other side, I'm happy to say that I'm a proud co-founder of our Miyagi digital marketing.
Very interesting. So, what has been your biggest epiphanies when it comes to digital marketing?
Well, to start with, I would say that first of all, there is something that I like to call the multi-channel approach, right? So for multi-channel approach, I mean that there are many ways to connect with your target online. Could be Facebook, could be Twitter, could be Amazon. I don't know if you're selling books, it could be your website, it could be LinkedIn, you can talk about it for forever if you want to. And the ability of a digital marketer is actually to understand which are the most effective channel based on the one you want to reach, okay, based on the people you want to reach and to talk to.
Okay, so finding which channels to communicate to your customers, basically.
Yeah, that's the one of the biggest challenges all the time to solve. And the other one is definitely and that's the one I learned the hard way, is that there is no magic button, is not that you can. There's a lot of people and services out there, trying to sell you the magic plugin for your website, or the magic, techniques or strategies so that you can be famous and rich from one day to another. It just doesn't happen, and that's where I throw a lot of my money as well in it, so I can say that I look for it, and it doesn't work.
And this is also something that we talk about in the course, about how it's very rare to be successful right from the start. and that it actually takes a lot of effort. So can you talk a little bit about that and what usually happens when you market a new company from scratch?
Yeah, sure. I mean, of course, companies come to you with different needs, different type of knowledge, about marketing and different requests. But in general, it's very important to make clear that we are talking to people. Okay, we are talking to someone else that is. We are trying to talk to someone else that is sitting somewhere else on the other side of the wall, maybe even, but that is a human being, and you should treat him as a human being, right? And what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to build a relationship, and a successful relationship, right? And I mean, when you want to build a relationship, it could be your girlfriend, it could be a new friend that you just met or whatever, it takes time, right? It's not that, okay, from today we are girlfriend and boyfriend. It doesn't work that way. You need to know each other, see if you can trust each other, see if you can believe each other, and that's our job, that's my job, and finding the most effective way to solve that issue, if you want, is what makes you, successful or not. And this is important. This is important to understand to me.
Okay. So while you're talking to these companies, are there any common mistakes that you see people make when they first start with digital marketing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as we said before, first of all, is understanding the multi-channel approach. The importance of being persistent and creating value, and being present. They have to be present. You can't ask to someone to come in your store if you're not in the store. It just doesn't work. It's like having a website that is dead and no one is taking care of it, or you're just not making, telling your friends. It's very important to do just very basic things. The second mistake is that, of course, as we said before, this takes time. Then I can say that a lot of people tend to spend money, on channels like could be Facebook ads or Google ads, that are very expensive, that are very, very expensive, and they don't, and maybe they are just not ready for it, and it's not the right or the best channel to use in that specific moment of the business, because maybe not even their website is optimized, maybe not even the website is ready to get people in, so sometimes you see different type of clients that are making a request of, I want to drive traffic, I'm driving traffic to my website, but then you look at the website, it just looks wrong, and they would never buy from a website like that, and it's funny that when you are into it, you don't see what is so obvious, as in everything, I suppose. But
so maybe sometimes people, they just don't have that clear of a goal for what they're aiming to do, basically.
That's right. Setting up goals, is probably the most important thing, and being able to measure these goals is the second most important thing, because if you don't measure, you don't know, and if you don't measure, you're not able to test what works and what doesn't. It's not that if you come to me, I can tell you, if you do this, you are gonna make it. I have an idea, I can tell you what I would do, and we try, we measure it, we are very specific, we put a lot of attention to details, and we analyze exactly what works and what doesn't. We optimize constantly what doesn't work, and we keep what works. That's the secret. We can't know everything by default. We're not a magician here, right? So this is very important, very, very interesting. Test, and measure.
Interesting. I also believe very strongly in goals as well. So to wrap up this interview, I'm just wondering if you could give one tip on how to succeed with digital marketing. What would that be?
I think is again connected to what we said before, is that we are dealing with people, right? So treat your your customers as people, not as some magic entities that are around on the web and someone is paying you, you know, you don't understand why and how, but you like it, you know. It's people. It's people, and ask yourself first, would I ever buy something, or would I ever sign up to that website if I see it and it's not my website? Yes, no. If yes, why? If no, why? Again. And this is it, you know. It's just remember that all the time. Treat whatever you are doing as a way to communicate with someone that you want to have as a friend, and not as someone.
Perfect. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.